everyone, I'm back with Economics' next episode of Let's Learn. So in the last couple of episodes, we learned about two different layers of what we call omics, right? The genomics, which is study of genes or DNA, and then transcriptome or transcriptomics and study of the RNA. So then what becomes to that RNA? Why is that RNA important? So RNA goes through a process called translation, where the RNA, the information from the RNA is made into proteins. Okay, and proteins are these molecules that either function where they are made in that cell, or they can travel through the body and have their effect in other organs. So that's called proteome. And then there are a couple other layers called metabolome or lipidome. We won't go into details of those. But then what really makes you is the combination of all of these omic layers, right? So genome, your transcriptome, the proteome, and then the metabolome, lipidome, and then finally the UU is called the phenome or the phenomics, okay? And that really is sort of a snapshot of who you are that day or during that period or during that time, depending, like we talked about, on your environment or your overall health, etc. For example, I may look a little fatigued. Guess what? I bought two dogs, two puppies during this pandemic, and just within the last 6 months, and I am tired with potty training and taking care of two puppies. I hope someday everything is going to work out, but right now they're my chaos crew. And so what can I do about that? What layer in this omics should I target to not be so fatigued? Right? And that layer is really the transcriptome or the RNA. Like I said, you cannot change your DNA or your genes, but what you can change is that RNA from day to day. So maybe I should drink more caffeine, try to still sleep a little bit better, or take some other herbal medications, or even drugs, or even regular over-the-counter medications. So most of these products, these interventions, or even go get a massage, right? All of these interventions work at that transcriptome or the RNA level. And therefore, our Economics' technology is really focused on the transcriptome. And at some point in the series, we'll talk about what exactly we do at Economics. Okay? But then that brings me back to this whole question about, we went through so many layers. How do we keep up with this data? How do we really understand this data, all this information from your DNA? I talked, it's about 2 times the diameter of the solar system, and then the RNA and the proteins and so many cells in the body. So what we really have to do is make sense of that data by bringing in the power of computation or computers. So we bring the science from the biology side and bring the science of computation, and together we have this technology or the science called bioinformatics that really allows us to really understand what is happening in our body in all these different layers and all of these different nucleotides, or what we call the DNA, etc. And you may have heard about sequencing recently, right? With COVID, you talk about how, the new variants that we are keeping a watch on. That is all, we can understand all of that because of bioinformatics. And we'll talk about bioinformatics in one of our next episodes. So now it brings me to my favorite part of the series, which is trivia. And I think when last time the question was, how much of your cell is made up of RNA? And the answer is B. It is 5%. And in fact, only 1% of your cells is made up of DNA. Okay? So that brings me to the trivia question for this episode. I wanted to bring some pop culture in, so it's not too sciencey all the time. And so the question this time is, what recent movie depicted the life of a person or persons considered to be the pioneer or pioneers of bioinformatics? And these are your choices. I love movies, so hope you have fun with that, and hope you get to watch all those movies. I definitely have. So see you next time. Have a nice day. Goodbye from everyone at Economics.